You know, I don't know why the president chose to think about football academy right after the exit of the footballing president. President Boga had never. I don't think he even played in elementary school. You know, to sit and decide that you're going to play a football academy, something that was being done by President Weah, who is celebrated around the world as who is celebrated in Africa. We think that is a serious challenge. That's a serious challenge. Everyone should watch that, because if this woman go ahead and build a football academy, and when he background in football after the exit of the football president, that clearly speaks to the fact that football was not a priority on George Weah. That will speak to that. And we are hoping that this. I'm hoping. I don't pray that this particular project come to fruition, because it come to fruition, the Unilever will run people. It had a serious interpretation. Okay, but again, to build a football academy, it help address the concern of the young people. Because Liberia, as the only black country in Africa to have reached to the level of winning the Ballon d'Or, we have not been able to go to the World Cup. Which is a serious concern now. Now, if the woman choose on his side to build a football academy where young people will train, and thus being the capacity of our youth and football community that will prepare to go to the World Cup. If he does that and that happens, the history of George Weah in terms of football achievement will be erased.
Why?
If you spend $10 million on a government project, which institution funded it? It also lends credence to some of the things people have said, that some of the money hitting the budget. For example, they're spending $1 million for Foya Hospital. What's the population of Foya? $1 million for Foya Hospital, but there are more people in Basso. There are more people in Magidi. You know, so how do you allot money? There's a lot more money being spent for Kolahun Hospital. And there is also money being spent for Current Hospital in Zozo. So this year's budget spending almost $2 million on hospitals in Foya. Are they giving those money, in Lofa, are they giving those money to go back for it and spend on other projects? It raises a lot of questions, and we've been asking those questions. But I personally, and we from the MPC, will respect Boyka. If Boyka came out and said that project in Foya, because he said it will be used for Mano River. Now let's face it, Mano River project. Mano River doesn't go to places like Foya. Why would they come to Monrovia and drive almost 15 hours to go to Foya? Doesn't make any sense. Let Boyka use that place. If it is not for him, let him use it as a housing estate. Let him give it to the citizens of Foya and let them own it. Let it be their benefit from the government, since it's already built and we can't cancel it. Let it be a public housing estate, giving through a selection process to people that will live in them. Then we know Boyka is clear. Boyka also said after he leaves, he's going to go to Foya to retire. You were vice president for 12 years. You didn't build anything for yourself. Your budget was about $2 something to $3 million a year. If you multiply that by 12 years, you're talking more than $24 million that went through your hands. So what happened with that money? Nobody really asks those kinds of questions, but today he blames other people conveniently. How can the president of Liberia, people serve at the will and pleasure of the president? Now the president said, I didn't know about it, they bill it. Mr. President, who are the day? And we say, fire those day, turn them over to the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Ministry of Justice, and pass the housing estate over to the people of Foya, let them populate it. Then we know your hands are clean. But you can't come and give a cheap answer, you go quiet. This thing had lingered for almost a year. 1 year later at the end, now the president has the courage to discuss this issue, and he said, oh, he didn't know about it. Those kinds of cheap answers don't flow. But this is a message to the people of Liberia. When we keep electing crooks, we keep electing looters under the canopy of these reasons, we'll always get these outcomes. Boyka was already retired. The old man couldn't even walk straight. Now you see he can even jog. Oh, somebody was joking and saying when you see the man face nowadays, he looks so different. We enabled Boyka and gave him a retirement job. So as a result, his priorities are shown. Show me where has Boyka done anything substantive in any way. And what do? The other day, they gave what? I think 15 pickers or 24 pickers or something to what they call it? LDA, and the president goes to lead that. No government official should have gone to even do that. But that's how it is. Spend 10 million on a 4-year project for his private retirement. Spend maybe about 300,000 on a DEA because everybody marched against drug. Then the presidency. Then the president goes and ride NTA buses. Some people say it's 15, some people say it's 26. I'm also bringing 26 buses to the country in 2026 to lower cost of transportation. What this is showing is that you don't need a government to be in these sectors. A government needs to focus on key regulatory issues that create jobs. So this whole 4-year thing exposes Boyka greatly, and sometimes it's so difficult to manage a lot, especially when it's a corrupt law. So all of the questions that needed to be asked can be asked. The other day they were parading what's the girl name from Oponstown, what's the girl's name? Fena Bono, that she stole and what have you. Those were all distraction, but you see the 4-year project is not going away. People still asking, as a president, give it to the people of 4-year, identify who are those people in your government and have access to 10 million. Let's see where they got that money from. You have the power to fire them, turn them over to Anti-Corruption Commission, let them be prosecuted. If you cannot do that, it means you are rogue, you facilitated that project is yours, you took the people of Liberia money, and we must hold you accountable.
And that's what is the
So if the president respectable member of his office and decision maker. Minister of State? Minister of State comes, so that is up to him. I'm going to check it. We want to see him. We want him to come.
I'm the senior political advisor to His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia. But I also happen to be the spouse of the Speaker.
What is? Not protest government here. People protesting. They're not protest government here.
A few years ago, you guys have
that intelligent government here.
What did make it intelligent?
What say? What are you trying to say? I'm trying to tell you that just about that government here, not noise maker here. Not noise government here, man.
Why you saying that? Why you saying that? So what do you say about the whole project beginning?
I said that the if the play was out, we will pepper them with that something.
Don't go.
Why you telling them for? People ready to protest. They
say they're coming.
Oh man, they getting plenty. They getting plenty.
So why you want that? Why you want to put a pepper there?
Why you want the police to pepper them?
They ain't coming.
Okay, when they come. Okay, that's not what they prep. Why you going to the prep? Why you doing the prep? Why you getting the prep?
We are major.
So, we see you. We see a lot of bread. Where are grandchildren? Where are grandchildren? That time you background, you remember? Time Corona.
Why you gonna do it around here? Why you gonna do it around here? Why you gonna do it around here?
Why you gonna do it around here?
I'm gonna go harm myself. I can't harm myself.
Okay. Where you working, sir?
Where you working?
Where you working, sir? Where you working? Why you working? Why you bring a brown protest? Where you working?
I can't harm myself.
Why you bring a brown protest, man?
No, man.
But where you working? Where you working?
Somebody say you can't join the protesters.
Where you working? Somebody say you part of them.
You can't join the people to protest.
You're not working, just taking pay.
They come here. Now we are going. You said it now. Who they sending in your phone? They come here. You will wait for it before you get it.
So tell now where you working?
So where you working?
Where you working at?
I work in the economic crack.
Oh, economic crack. What economic crack? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
I come tell you.
You working at economic crack? You working at?
You are a janitor that you can miss people work.
Okay. What kind of start? What are your position to the economic crack? Why position there? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? You
the West
you didn't even call it why you doing there, they say.
So we were there for 6 years. The what Joseph Waka doing for 2 years, for 2 years, and more than the 6 years, man.
I don't know. What kind of way you doing?
What kind of way you doing?
Why your power?
My power.
What may a battle? What may a battle?
Before Joe Waka win.
So I free way. That's why your farm. Your farm. So you get free money.
No farm again.
No. Yeah. You're not doing farm again. You're not doing farm
so you want to tell me I broke up?
No, we don't see a broken, but the bread was expensive.
You want to tell me that they break it by me?
Very daily.
Break it by me.
Very daily. Very daily. You say you working on economic franco. What are you doing there?
Why are you doing that?
You're tired of
economic franco.
They can't do it. You can't say they are disgraced.
Why?
So you're looking for the protesters?
And the people read the protest.
The red. Let them come. You will see that disgrace.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the voice of
Cabinet official waits at the will and pleasure of the presidency. So if he's running away, who will we give a petition to? He's running away on purpose. We challenge that cabinet. We told you that cabinet is not withstanding his law.
So when a protester stay at the mansion, the president is not going to receive a petition.
What I've said, I've said we are going to the mansion, the police release our truck. We're here for almost 1 hour waiting for the truck. The truck release, we are proceeding there.
Stands leader Morva Molu.
If Gaza you do it, I'm telling you. But remember, come on. Let me tell you, if you get me, I'm not going to
Yeah, so we back. I guess the sound quality is better now, and uh, we're so sorry. Yeah. So yeah, so we back. Okay, I can get the feedback that we back now. So like I was saying, right? Basically we will look at a few of these issues and talk about them, and we will also look at issues coming in from the government of Liberia as well. Just this evening, we saw the resignation of one of the youth council advisor to the president, and the resignation was being accepted by um, the presidential press secretary Kola Fofana, and we will bring you that as well and look into it. We apologize for the level of situation we've been having, and is a tough one. So currently, Samuel Twe, who happens to be former finance minister, is live on the Spoon Talk, and firing to some of the issues that have been speculated on the social media news outlet about him as finance minister at the time. The Unity, not the Unity Party, but the CDC government was in power, right? And he spoke about his ascension. He's one person that work hard in the CDC government. So we will bring you a write up he did, which was 6 hours ago, and this is not the first write up. We saw a few other ones that he did, right, uh, and posted on his social media on Facebook about you know situations with him and the government, this current government as well. So we are going to be looking into that, and I just want to get this photo, and I want to have them. Okay, so yeah, and let me save this as well, and okay, all right. So let's get right into it, right? And they, I am going to basically read his his read up 6 hours ago. He said debt analysis shows government borrowing of 64 million from the central bank in 2024. Explanation needed. Liberia's debt and macroeconomic numbers, as well as CDC's sources in education, held out by the World Bank's IRIS project and the Excel project, funded by the World Bank and the Global Partnership for Education. So he says, today I will post some macroeconomic numbers and show strong achievements in the education sector on the CDC. Key will be numbers showing the evaluation of Eugene Nangbe, who he said who has argued always for a UPCDC debate. This aggregated attribution. This is what I have done in the table below. too much garbage in the form of propaganda about debt has polluted the public space recently. Data on debt comes from CBL annual reports. The tables shows both domestic debt that is attributable to the UP and to the CDC respectively. In 2017, the CDC received total domestic debt from the UP in the about 266 million. I added to this some important debt incurred by the UP administration prior to 2018, including the 50 million NASCAR bond, the 65 million debt owed by the Unity Party government to commercial banks prior to 2017. President Weah mandated his government to recognize his debt and to start payment on it to rekindle confidence with the banking sector. John B.S. Davis, who was president of the Liberia Banking Association when I became finance minister, and who was also president of LBDI, can confirm this. We took on this debt and started fresh with the banks. I've also added about 170 million that was added to the country's debt stock from under the table by the IMF. The CDC government and the IMF had a long discussion about more than 300 million that was not placed into official debt statistics was hanging around the CBL prior to 2018. The IMF insisted that for any IMF supported program to proceed, the CDC government had to recognize this debt. We argue against recognition because of lack of audit. The IMF insisted that we did not have time to audit. We agreed on around 170 million to be added and left the rest is still sitting at the CBL awaiting audit. When all these added, this should bring the UP domestic debt to around 546 million. This is where their domestic debt ended. The debt will show CDC's domestic debt raising until it hits 475 million in 2023. So former finance minister Samuel Tuer is basically someone we can say is an expert in the finance sector, right? And he's someone who worked in government even when Unity Party at the time had 12 years to rule Liberia on an ex-president Salif. He also had the privilege or opportunity to have worked in the CDC for 6 good years. And now there are several issues of corruption on his head. He said the first one has to do with his sanction, which he's saying was political due to his role he played in the Weah government, and it was not based on fact that things they said about his corruption situation and involvement into other issues was never proven. So he said was highly political, and and he also said that the Unity Party government 2 years have been wasted years. I don't know how he managed to have come up with such analysis, but he says the 2 years under the Unity Party government have been very wasted years. And he also said the Unity Party government credited 2.1 million of donor money in 2017. And when the CDC did their own, donor issue statement to make, the entire situation look the store. So they only took small money to replace it. That what he said, that the Unity Party took 2.1 million of donor money, and that was done in 2017. And they just took small. What do you call small? Mr. Toy. And he also talk about the mop up exercise, right? He says the mop up exercise will carry out by the central bank and not the Minister of Finance, but who approved um, the fundings to be sent to the Central Bank of Liberia. How did the approval take place or took place? And who authorized the mob up exercise? It was on the WIA administration when George Weah, who was president at the time, said that you know the mop up exercise was going to be something that was strengthening the economy, giving Liberians a full control over the economy, especially for the business sector, where we have a lot of Fulanis carrying on business operations in our country. And the business sector is jam packed by the Fulanis, by foreigners, by the Lebanese. So it was something that they say at the time was going to give urge to businesses that are owned by Liberians, and we didn't see that as well. And he also said that no government will do harmonization policy in the next 50 years because it was a good policy. No government. So this is exactly what the former finance minister is saying, not me. He said no government will undo harmonization policy in the next 50 years because it was a good policy. Without harmonization, CDC who have collapsed in 2020. Okay, I think one reason why we had harmonization by the CDC government at the time was because people claimed they wanted to have created a lot of space to, 12 years you fought into getting power. You have a lot of people who've supported you, and not to let these people about the wayside. This was what people said in public and in streets comments, that it was an act that the CDC created to be able to visibly um, give their guys some space to be able to operate properly, to have jobs, because you can support someone for uh, the next uh, um, for the next 12 years. You struggling, and you see that basically there's nothing to be done, and after you've been successful and you win the battle, and you cannot include that person into your success situation. So I think that was what the CDC government did to be able to have everyone included on the harmonization policy. And on the CDC again, this is what former Minister Samba Tua is saying, that on the CDC, poverty levels did go up. We only added around 600,000 Liberians in poverty. So meaning 3.2 million Liberians were in poverty in 2023, but their government only added 600,000 people in poverty. Okay. It's interesting, you know, and all of these things are something we should also be looking at. We should also be looking at. And as we go through these kind of discussions, we basically have to be able to talk about how things was and is going to be. Like, we have to be able to look through these things and basically be able to analyze thoroughly. So former finance minister Tue is currently on the Spoon Talk and basically giving his own fireback and analysis of these things. So another thing we want to look at, not much tonight because we just want to wrap up for our year-end presentation of the program. And another thing we want to look at thoroughly is the resignation. Is the resignation. So a member of the Youth Advisory Council did resign, and the resignation was being accepted by the president. So we will literally read the resignation, and so member of the Youth Advisory Council, Miss Kemuka, resigned. So the executive mansion accepted a resignation as Miss Ifia Fit Kemuka from her position as member of the Youth Advisory Council. Ms. Kemuka cited personal reasons for her resignation. In acknowledging Ms. Kemuka's service to the council, President Bwaka expressed appreciation for contributions to national youth engagement and policy dialogue, noting that her effort in advancing youth participation and civic awareness added value to the work of the council. To ensure continuity and effective functioning of the Youth Advisory Council, the president has appointed Ms. Mariama Tuzi Toure as member of the council with immediate effect. Ms. Toure's appointment reflects the administration's ongoing focus on inclusive youth representation and the important role youth and young leaders play in shaping Liberia's development agenda. The president called stakeholders, partners, and young people across the country to support Ms. Toure as she assumes her responsibilities and contributions to strengthening youth participation in national development, which is the departing member very best wishes in her future pursuit. And with this Miss Kamuka resignation, you had some of the guys claiming that Musa Hassan Belete, who happens to be representative in Nimba County, um, and who also the political leader of CMC, was something that influenced her resignation. It's been alleged. We cannot clearly confirm or state that. And it just been some ups and downs, rocky situations. And as we go about these rocky situations, we want to say it as as we close up the year presentation today, we basically want to say that things are going to be as great, as smooth, and just how we are planning. So, as of Thursday, we're hoping to have a few other panelists to join us on the program, and together we can be able to basically uh, go ahead with a great presentation. So, again, just leave your comment as to what are some things you put in place in terms of your resolutions for the new year. Like we are here as a team, as Weez TV, to basically, oh, my friend and brother James Aku, hoping to have you on Thursday, James, and yeah, so that we can be able to talk a great and discuss issues of concern for our beloved country Liberia. So, like I said, right, let's just go a bit, social now, since we are closing up this year presentation. What are some things you as a person are basically putting in place to be able to have your resolutions achievable? What are those things? What are those things? Exactly things that will be able to. So, what are plans? Let me see if I can help with a couple of things that we as people right now. Tomorrow is crossover night, and we'll have a lot of resolutions. We have a lot of people that will be, setting annual goals to be achievable. So we can share some tips. How can you make these goals achievable? What are things that you need to do? What are things that you need to put in place to get these goals achievable as an individual? So you need to do this. You need to put this plan together. And like I said, for us on this show, it's gonna be a whole different presentation because we want to come on big as of 2026 by God's grace. We want to be able to have a lot of guests joining us, a lot of different conversations, good panelists, great ones that will come on. We talk about these things. You'll be able to listen as you follow, and you have people talking as intellectual, having great discussions. These are things that we are putting in place. We're putting in measures that we will be prudent, timely, and time conscious. We're putting in measures that will always be done to talk about these things that are happening, these things that are affecting the life of our people, things that we can hold government accountable for. Yeah, basically, these are things that we are putting in place. So, you as a person, we having crossover tomorrow. Hope you won't go social. You just have to pray to God and be happy that you be entering 2026. And also, you be able to have set some stretch goals. Shouldn't be a tough one. You can start little. You can start little. You can start little, and little by little, you achieve it. So the first thing you as a person would need to do is to reflect, right? You reflect on your past year, like 2025. What did you achieve from your goals you set for 2025? What didn't work for you and why? Those are questions you should be able to ask yourself. Oh, what didn't work for me as a person and what this didn't happen? Why? What habits help you the most? Like you look at yourself, maybe you've been partying too much, you've been having a lot of beer, you say, okay, the beer helped me or it didn't help me, it caused me to spend a lot. So I put that aside. What drain your time, energy? What exactly? So those are things you should look at first. The second one is to define your bigger picture. Define your bigger picture. Think about the resolutions you want to have and just focus on directions. How do you want your life to look like by the end of 2026? Exactly, my brother. What exactly and how exactly do you want to look by the end of 2026? What kind of person you want to become? Do you want to be a politician? Do you want to have earn a bachelor's degree or a master degree? Do you want your finances to be up there? You look at your career. What kind of job you want? Set those goals. Or your business. How do you want your business to grow? How will you, like, maybe you have some pork belly. Like, how do you want yourself to be? Your health. These are all things you need to set, goals you need to set as a person. Your family, your relationship. How do you intend to build your bonds? How do you intend to have a relationship just in case if you want to? Your personal growth and spiritual growth as well. How well do you want to connect with God? Your community and impact. Do you still want to stay to where you are, looking at the level of impact? Or do you want to relocate to somewhere better for growth and development for yourself? Don't set big, long, and large goals. Just set few and let them be clear out. Avoid long lists. Aim at 5 to 7 major goals. In total, I think if you just 5 to 7 and you target them gradually, let them be smart. you know Smart would mean specific, like clear, and you focus on it, and measurable, something you can take track of, and achievable. Let them be realistic, not fantasy. Relevant, it should align with your life priorities. Time bomb has deadline for all those goals, you know and then you can now break them down into monthly, you know goals, or break them down into action steps. So what must you do monthly? What must you do weekly? And what can you do daily to achieve these goals? Hmm? What exactly? Build habits. create outcomes. Like you start to read books, you start to build your habits, read books, watch educative movies, YouTube video, take some classes online. Hmm? Or you want to be good at writing or speaking, watch videos. Take 5 or 20 minutes and write articles. Hmm? So at the end of the month or the week or 6 months, you take track of how you've achieved your annual goal you've set for 2025. Write them down. If you can visualize it, you visualize them. Simple. Make your goal as simple as it should be. Very smart. Let them be specific. Let them be measurable. Let them be achievable. Let them be relevant and of a time bomb. So we like to say thanks to everyone for joining us. Like my man James said, so far for me, the year 2025 was quite a bit challenging, but I can say that I achieved at least 70% of my resolution. For 2026, we're gonna be different with more focus and determination. Exactly, my brother. And uh, Darius Teddy Womwe says, following closely. And yeah, so far so good. My boy LeBron says, great job from YouTube. So as of Thursday, we will be here with a fresh edition of the program 2026 presentation. The roundtable is live on YouTube, Wiz TV, on Facebook, Wiz TV as well. And we like to appreciate all of you for coming on. We will be here on Thursday, 10 p.m. Liberia time, 5 p.m. the US time. And as usual, I'm your host, Mr. Samuel Abu is unavailable, and we're hoping to have people who have already shown interest in joining the show by Thursday of this week. My name is William McGill. Do have a great night. Bye bye.